Hello, hello. We are live. Welcome to Minute Movies.
Welcome to Minute Movies,
Space.
the space edition.
With the spaciest lights you've ever seen.
Wow. Oh, Minute Movies. Woo.
Minute Movies.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. So we have
welcome.
another cool set of spacey videos tonight.
We do.
Yeah, maybe I should. Oh, I'm just gonna make them rainbow.
Just
So
ambient space.
ambient space. Yeah. my antenna.
All right. So welcome to everyone watching. If anyone hasn't been here before, we're Minute Movies. We do monthly screenings, and every month there's a new word to inspire the films. And so this month the word is space. And if you are so inspired, feel free to make one for next month. We'll let you know what the word for next month is at the end of this month. At the end of the screening, I guess.
Right.
Yes.
Which is not the end of the month.
Not the end of the month.
Yeah.
Partway through the month, actually.
So
Space.
So where are you? What space are you in?
Me?
Yeah, you.
Wisconsin?
Wisconsin. No, this is for people who don't know that you're in Wisconsin.
Okay.
No,
Yes,
I'm in Seattle.
I'm in Wisconsin, formerly Seattle.
Formerly Seattle. So we're like, moving into the zone of just minute movies, not Seattle minute movies. But
yeah.
But yeah. So let's see. Do we have? Okay.
Yeah, we've got some filmmakers backstage.
Sweet. All right.
Got Kirk back here and Peter, Warner, Jason. Yeah, we've got full house. Dan, if you're watching, you are after Kirk.
Delightful Dan. Okay, so Delightful Dan. Yeah, we'll get to his. His is a little spacey, as are all the films tonight. But
should we bring Kirk in?
But first,
see what brand of space Kirk has for us.
But wait a second. First, we've got
Oh right.
The Minute Movie, Seattle Minute Movies official introductory film to tonight. Yes. And
we do have an intro tonight. So where did you film this intro this time?
Film this intro right down the street from my house at Alki Point. And I found a bunch of spacey people to talk to today. I did this today. Yeah.
Nice.
Should
we see what these spacey folks had to say?
Yeah, see if it works. Hopefully all our tech works today.
Fingers crossed.
Yeah, fingers crossed.
Here we go.
Space.
Ooh.
Infinity.
It's out there, man. Empty.
There's a lot of space up above.
Planets and stars.
Magnitude, grandeur.
This epic concept that's hard to imagine. Infinites. Stars and planets.
The limits of human imagination.
Really exciting and wondrous.
It's exploration. Tough place to spend time in because you die if you make a mistake.
I love the Guardians of the Galaxy version of space, like universe. Beautiful. I can look, and the sky is clear and you can see the Milky Way.
There's a lot of space between here and the other side of the sound.
Space, as far as personal space, is probably my number one concern in life right now.
And boxes. Yes.
Yay.
That was great.
Yeah. Fun stuff.
Oh, yeah, it was fun.
I
Good.
always like going out, and it's so hard to like get motivated. This anxiety about walking up to strangers on the street and saying, "Hey, can I talk to you for a minute?" And then once you start, a lot of people say no, you know, once you explain it, and then, but it's fun, you know, people love it. It's great to break through that barrier of discomfort and meet new people.
Yeah.
Just random, you know, for a moment, just for a minute, then you move on. Maybe some of them are watching right now because I tell everybody about it, but I'm not sure. Seems like most people don't. Anyway, here we are.
Yeah. Good to have the open back. I agree. Yeah. Good to have it back.
Back, yes. So you're gonna have to do something from Wisconsin, huh?
Yeah, I'll have to do something in Madison.
Yeah. Cool.
Yeah, get some
Echo Jeff.
Wisconsinites to let me know what they think about a word. It's cold here already.
I'll bet.
Yeah.
Well, it's cold here. It's freezing here.
It's
So
been snowing all week here.
whatever. It's been like frosting here. So yeah.
At least it's not New York. I don't know if you heard about New York. They got like over 6 feet of snow in 24 hours.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Jeez. Sick man, that would like
I think Buffalo, New York area.
oh, okay.
Yeah. Yeah. Pretty crazy.
That would take Seattle out for like 2 weeks.
It would.
So yeah. So what do you think about spacey lights? So I was telling you, like, here's my remote control for my lights. Watch this. I press this button, and then it responds to me, to my voice. Yeah. And I press this button, and it goes zooming around. Ping. Oh wait, no, that's a different button. Oh, there we are.
Should we bring Kirk on?
Yeah, we should bring Kirk on.
All right. All right, Kirk, I'm going to bring you in. Hello.
Well, it was nice to have an intro again.
Oh yeah. Yeah, it was fun. It was fun to make that.
Yeah.
I'll just go rainbow.
Yeah. I feel like the intro, you know, it sets the tone for a nice minute movie screening.
Yeah, definitely. Well, so you know, I've said this before. Usually, I just roll with the first thing that kind of comes to mind. The problem is the first thing that comes to mind for me for space is, you know, outer space, and I've hit that pretty hard.
I was surprised. Yeah.
This time. I did my 2001: A Space Odyssey spoof, you know, a while back, and then I did a Star Trek spoof a while back, and so I decided to do something a little bit different, just to mix it up a little bit.
Didn't want to go with Star Wars this time?
Could have. I'll let Disney flounder in that arena.
It's funny. So I did not include, I think 3 of the people I talked to today said Final Frontier.
Yeah.
It's popped into their head.
That's the first thing that comes to my mind, really, is the Final Frontier.
Final Frontier.
Yeah. But it's not really. There's so much more than just space.
Space is everything.
Just leave it. No, it isn't.
Well, I guess there's also the oceans, and there's
I guess I meant everything
subatomic.
in space.
Yeah, but there's outer space. Anyway,
That's still.
I'll just leave that there. There's so much more than just space.
All right, shall we watch this?
All right, we should we should watch this.
Here we go. It was great.
That was awesome. Loved that.
Thanks.
It's not what I was expecting going into that. It was good.
Yeah, no, that was awesome. I love yeah, when the trunk opened.
Yeah.
Like, oh yeah, okay. And then you took all the time to like climb out of the trunk.
Yeah.
Well, that was real time.
I know, right? Which is
Well,
great.
also, you see that there's that gigantic Pelican case in my trunk.
Oh yeah.
And I completely forgot it was in there. So that was just real. having to go negotiate my way around that Pelican case.
That's too funny. And then, I really like the fall colors and the wet, that it was rainy and all that. It was, the environment was a good picture. It looked good.
Oh,
Yeah.
thank you.
Yeah. And then there was the guy, your friend, obviously, but
Mhm.
just oblivious,
Yeah.
just like, hey. So I'm curious, did you repark after that?
Did I repark after that?
Yeah, I mean, you
To get
were over the line
centered in the
too.
space.
Oh,
So you didn't like crowd the guy, yeah.
Yeah. Jason said beat perfect comedy. And Jeff said the deliberate pacing was very funny.
Yeah, I think so too. I agree.
Yeah.
well,
Yeah.
And the silence. Like you didn't add in any, slapstick music or sound effects extra to you just let it be.
And then you're
Us watching a car while someone tries to climb through it, and we know what's happening, but we can't
Yeah.
see it.
Yeah, and originally I had intended to have inside the car shots, to kind of show what was going on, but then I thought that they just wouldn't be necessary.
yeah, no, it was
Your imagination would just kind of fill in the whole thing.
definitely
Yeah.
funnier. Yeah.
Yeah.
Too good. Yeah, loved it. And then you're just like staring at the guy drive off. It's like, what the fuck? Yeah, it was good. I love that. That was a good one.
Thanks.
Parking space. Yeah, everyone's nemesis,
Yeah. Yeah. Well, thanks a bunch, Kirk.
Thank you.
Yeah. And thanks for, I guess, doing something a little bit different. I feel like you always do something just a little bit different than what you did before.
Oh, I gotta ask, did you buy anything for this one?
Did I buy anything for this one? I did not,
Okay.
but that was a rental car because I hit a deer.
What?
Oh,
Yeah, I hit a
wow.
deer a few days before shooting.
Oh my gosh.
And got a rental car, and the sound of me door dinging the car next to me was actually me taking a bolt to my actual car to the to the front quarter panel because it was dented in anyway and was going to need to be replaced. And so
So you made it. Wow. Okay. So you've always got something up your sleeve that's like a little bit extra Foley sound from,
Yep.
a real car.
Everything's not
so
what
in
it
reality, for that shot,
Well, okay.
my friend Keith, who is the same guy that walks out and drives away at the end,
Yeah.
was just standing next to the car with his hands out to catch the door.
Ah, okay. So
and then I Foleyed in the sound of the door dang.
Yeah, cool. Love it. I knew you had something going on because you always do. All right. Thanks, Kurt.
Cool.
Sure.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So
Right. I saw Dan hop in here.
yeah.
Here we are. Delightful Productions.
Yeah.
Bringing you
I got
in.
tears from laughing. Yeah. Hey, Dan.
Then after Dan, we have Jason. Just as a heads up.
Dan. Oh, we can't hear you. Can't hear you. It's just white noise. Let's see. What's happened in the past? How have I fixed that? Shoot. Technical difficulties.
In
The
settings?
delightful Dan. What did I
Can you
do?
hear me?
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. Now we can hear you now.
Okay.
You're a little
Which
choppy. Your video
microphone?
freezes and stuff. But
Yeah, I know.
okay.
Let me. Maybe that might help. Okay. Anyway,
I think I was using my
so
battery.
happy.
Happy.
Yes. Happy almost Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
Happy almost
Pre-holidays
Thanksgiving.
celebration here. Yeah.
I like your room, Sarah. That's neat. I always wanted a rooftop bedroom when I was a kid.
Thanks.
You
Yeah,
stole
it's
my
like a
dream.
guest room / office up in the attic.
Yeah.
So Dan, this video is pretty cool. It's 360 again.
It
Like
is.
the full 360. Yeah, but what's cool is that I figured it out. When you play it on the PC media player, just the basic one in Windows, it's got a little button you can press 360, and so it makes it regular full screen. So I'm going to change the player that I play it on, so we can watch it just regular full screen.
Yeah.
But what's fun, and maybe if you'll let me do this,
Okay. Yeah.
there's also the feature that you can use your mouse and then angle it around.
Oh, right. Yeah.
So
I
maybe
found that out. And you know
so
what?
maybe
I
the first,
uploaded on YouTube and it came out 360.
yeah.
But I have a Dropbox too. So I uploaded to my Dropbox and it came out normal.
Huh. Okay, interesting.
Trying to figure out.
So
I
the first time through we'll play it just regular probably, right? And then
yeah,
maybe when we play it the second time through,
how it's supposed to be.
I'll pan it around and stuff. Like, have fun with it.
Yeah.
I was doing that earlier. It was kind of cool. It's all squeezed and it's fun.
Looked like I had a pointy head and
Yeah.
yeah.
Your feet are a long ways away. Yeah.
But I don't understand why why it does it on YouTube. I tried to figure that out. I couldn't. That's
Jason says YouTube will look for the 360 metadata and Dropbox won't. So maybe
really?
it's a YouTube thing. I don't know, but you. Oh,
the file. So the file must have 360 metadata, and then when you play it in Dropbox, then it'll look normal. But then if you play it in YouTube, then YouTube will read that metadata.
How do I get rid of it?
I don't know, but see when I play it on DLC player, it just doesn't work. But anyway, the Windows PC media player, whatever. We'll just show it. Should we just show it?
Yeah. Is there anything you want to say about it?
Yeah. Well, I thought I bought this for myself so I can scoot around, and it's completely portable. And I thought, oh, space saving. Well, that'll work for the movie. So that's why I did it, and it came out all right.
Cool.
I was going to do a funny thing like I usually do, but I just didn't really want to take the time. Like I was going to have it go super fast. Man, crash. Can't do that. But
Well, okay,
just
so
try
I'll
to do it simple.
so we'll do the fun part the second run through.
And
I'll
there's
zoom
no
it all
voice.
around.
It's all music.
All right. Well, let's take a look.
Here we go.
See if this works. Okay.
Nice. Jason said, "Looks fun. I want one."
Yeah, yeah. Most people
Warner says, "Groovy."
will be all right.
Yeah.
Amazon.com for $6.97 plus tax.
Nice.
And if you remember, like me, you get delivery free. So hey, that right. So
There
that
you
helps. Imagine
Yeah.
the delivery free. Delivery fee is probably high.
Huh.
So,
Huh.
yeah, it took a while to get used to,
Yeah.
and still kind of need some balance in there. And but I'm pretty used to it now. I've had it for since the beginning of the month, maybe.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah.
So what's your favorite what do you like to do on it? Where do you like to go?
Well, I usually just use it in between bus stops because I take the bus all over. I don't
Oh,
drive.
okay.
Yeah, and it
So
goes a whopping 15 mpc. That's 50 miles per charge.
oh
25 actually. It goes
okay.
about 50 miles an hour top speed.
Oh,
15.
that's pretty good.
Yeah, it gets me around.
Yeah.
Does the job. It's so small I have to like crunch into it.
So you,
Jeff,
so but you're still driving?
No, yeah,
No.
well,
You're driving your little. So what do you call it? Is it? It's not. It's like a
Scotty scooter. No.
Scotty scooter. Okay.
Jeff asked, "Can you pop a wheelie?"
Papa Wheelie.
Yeah, in fact, I'm thinking about doing a little gift video making, showing me popping wheelies on it.
So it's a space saver, but it's also a space age device.
Space age, yeah.
Yeah.
Space age.
There you
Space
go.
age.
I was thinking like going so fast, takes off and goes into outer space.
I'm surprised we didn't have any, false background behind you while you're riding it through
Oh
the
yeah,
cosmos.
that would. I just didn't want to deal with that. It's too complicated.
Too complicated.
Yeah, I have to take my green screen outside.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was
Cool.
fun making it though.
Good. That's all that matters, right? As long as you
Yeah.
had fun making it.
I know. Fun is
No
fun is
idea.
good to have. I know.
What's
My
that?
fun lights. Yeah, fun is good to have.
Oh yeah, you heard my comment. Neat.
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 Yeah. My lights, I was having fun, and then the fun ended because my battery, I had
Too much fun.
Too much fun. So I'm
I like the voice activated thing.
I know, so I'm gonna plug them in again.
That's
I've just
cool.
got to get an extension cord now.
Where'd you get that? I want one.
Oh yeah, all right. So I was on Facebook. I got off Facebook for like 5 years, and then I finally got back on Facebook to be in a group, and then trying to find the group, scrolling through my feed, and this advertisement came up. These really cool lights, and I just couldn't resist, and I had to buy them. I never do that. But anyway, actually, I can't say that I never do that because I did. I bought these lights on Facebook when those pop-up ads.
Well, if the theme word ever came up, lights, I'll do that one. Oh,
Yeah. But anyway, I'm really happy I did because they're fun. I like them.
We
yeah.
actually already had the theme light.
The theme. Oh, we did. Yeah.
Did.
What was that?
I remember it because it was
Lights been
our
a theme.
biggest screening ever because one of the classes at SFI assigned their student, like all of their students, to make a minute movie that month. So we had
Yeah. And they didn't tell us.
and they didn't tell us. So we had, like, I don't know,
Oh, really?
35 films, and then like the
Wow.
room was packed. It was like there were people sitting in the aisles because there was no more chairs left.
Oh,
It
wow.
It was
cool.
a memorable screening.
It's like what? Yeah, it was an
And that
example.
was actually the first Franken film I did too. Was for that one.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, we should do Franken films again.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
was wondering about that. Kind of missed that.
Sarah's trademark film.
The Franken film. Yeah, we should do that again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Jeff says it was a fun screening. Yeah, he was there, I guess. Yeah. And
Yeah. Warner was there too.
was there.
Or Kirk's time. Yeah, it was a long time ago.
Yeah, it must be before my time.
Yeah, it was. I don't know. It was probably like the second year of Minute Movies.
Yeah, I think so.
So
Was that Amy
yeah, it was Amy Enser's class.
Answers. Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool.
Cool.
Mm-hmm. Neat. Yeah, I'm gonna look up the lights and see if Amazon has it.
They probably have something similar.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like to put lights on
Well, they were
my
like
scooter.
they're like
That
some
was
Chinese
good.
company, and I swear
Nice.
I thought I got scammed actually because it seemed like it was one of these things where they just took your money and said, oh, we shipped it, whatever. Anyway, because I followed up on the company and I did a little Google search and I'm like, oh man, they scammed me, and it's like there's so many complaints, and apparently the scam is like they say they delivered it, but then they don't, and then it whatever. So, but then it showed up at my door. It's
Hmm.
like a week.
Yeah, I see this advertisement for these little portable fans or heaters you plug in, and I was thinking about getting one, but I'm afraid of if it's legit or not.
Ah,
It like heats up your room in like 60 seconds.
Oh my gosh.
So
ha.
it's about yay big.
Yeah, I think I've seen those. You're like, huh? Does this really work? Oh. So anyway, yeah. Next,
Watch out for internet scams.
Oh yeah, that's
I know, but
I'm
sometimes they're not.
aware of it.
On occasion, they're not actually scams.
On occasion, yeah, yeah, you just hit the right one.
I know. I'm gonna plug it in next time. I don't want to be rude and like go off screen, so
I'm sure.
I'm gonna get my lights going back.
Cool. Well, shall we see the next film?
We should. Yeah.
All right. Thank you, Dan.
All right, Dan. It's always
Have a good
fun.
evening.
You
Take
too.
care, all.
All right. Jason, I'm going to add you in, and then Warner, you are after. Hello.
Hey, how's it going?
Good. How are you?
Hey, Jason.
Yeah. So I don't know, with this one with space, I figured everybody was just kind of expecting me to do some sort of thing in outer space, and I mean, I was tempted because that would have been easy. I could do some sort of animation or something like that. I got a bunch of assets already ready for it, but I mean, I spent some time to think about it, and I decided that I wanted to edit up a clip from a documentary that Jim Brazier and I started like way back in 2015, 16.
Oh yeah.
And, I ended up dropping because it ended up becoming too. It was hard to figure out what the documentary was about because every time I nailed it down, it's about this, it's about this, it's about this. Something else new would happen in the news that would make it bigger, and then there would be something that happened in production behind the scenes that would connect it to that. And right about that time is when I got a great job and got super busy with it, and
Yeah.
life started happening. And so I discovered virtual reality. I ended up doing something cool with that distracted me for a while. But recently I've been thinking, like, with all the stuff that's been going on, that maybe I should pick it back up and I might be able to actually get some perspective on it. So while I was thinking about Minute Movies, I was also going through all of the interview transcripts, and I just sort of thought, well, this would be interesting to kind of have like a meta discussion about the subject of space and entertainment and film and stuff like that. And I had a couple of clips. It was almost David Gerald, the Star Trek writer, that I picked, but his answer was so like, yes, I agree with your question. So I picked this dude that is a little obscure, that had actually kind of like the hottest take on whether or not science fiction and space stuff is relevant to culture. I'll just let the video speak for itself. Oh, and it's I edited it in mobile format, in vertical format, because later on it's going to go on like YouTube Reels or something like that, stories, whatever they call it. Their TikTok clone.
I know everyone has their own TikTok version.
Yeah. So, anyways, I'll let
So I'm
you.
gonna. So on the other side of it, I'll tell you about a synchronicity that kind of in reference to your genre, your topic. Anyway.
Cool. Looking forward to it.
Place hold that. Cool.
Here we go.
In your opinion, do you think that science fiction has any more social or political power than any other artistic genre?
No. But it has as much power as any artistic genre.
Okay.
I mean, art does change our culture. We have great power, we writers and people in movie and television films, especially ones with large audiences, can change people's lives. And, not always in the most obvious ways. You don't necessarily need to do documentaries or heavy dramas and all that. I mean, you see situations. I look at a television show like Will and Grace, and I think Will and Grace probably had more to do with the acceptance of gay marriage in this country than any number of protest marches or petitions, because it was watched by many, many millions of people for a number of years. The characters were, stereotypes in some way, but they were sympathetic characters that the audience liked and identified with and wanted to do well. And you transfer that to other people, and it does make a difference.
Sure.
I mean, and science fiction has always had a good record with that. I mean, there's the famous, you go back to the first Star Trek episode and how groundbreaking that actually was. I mean, Uhura, a black woman on the command bridge of a starship.
Right.
The effect that it had on young black girls. I mean, Whoopi Goldberg has spoken to this and all that. Enormous. Chekhov, at the height of the Cold War, Roddenberry puts a Russian on the bridge of the starship. He puts an Asian guy there with Sulu.
Right.
For the mid '60s, compare that to the other shows that were on. Nobody else was doing that at the time. It was important, and I think that kind of can still be very important.
Mhm.
Got my lights working in.
So tell me your story.
Well, first of all, I want to say that was a really cool clip. I really liked the shift into a social activism perspective on the, and I really do appreciate that aspect of the that genre. Star Trek was great for opening up that awareness and adding in these. It's a perfect scene or like set, if you will, setting to add in multiracial, multicultural, with Spock and everything, like all the.
Have you heard the story about when Nichelle Nichols almost quit being Uhura?
Huh.
So yeah, she was about to quit, and this is in a recent documentary. She was about to quit because she was getting frustrated with one thing or another, as always happens in television productions. It's kind of a rough road.
Yeah.
And Gene Roddenberry asked a friend to come visit her and talk her out of it. That friend was Martin Luther King.
Oh wow.
And he said, "You have to stay in this role. Please stay in this role, because young black girls are watching you, and they're modeling what is possible in their life off of what they see, and Uhura is a part of that."
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow, that's cool. That's definitely historic.
Yeah. I mean, that's one of the reasons why I've been struggling with kind of getting back to this documentary, is because I got a lot of stuff like that, and there's a lot of the controversy that happened throughout these events that I was documenting was tied up in things that were outside of this science fiction fandom community, but were sort of importantly related, in that the events were sort of a result of different fandom communities being targeted by these culture warrior types. You know, one of the guys that I interviewed was one of the guys also that helped read that document of 9 points that defined what the alt-right was in Breitbart. And he was part of Gamergate, which was sort of kind of a testing ground for a lot of the stuff that happened, for a lot of the way that the things were organized with January 6th, and the Trump campaign, and all these things. It was they were like, I was making a documentary about cool people I admired, and then unfolding underneath my feet were these events that were much larger.
Yeah.
I was capable of or had the bandwidth for, and now I'm struggling with, like, do I have the bandwidth to take it on? Because
you know, maybe there's it's possible maybe there's another filmmaker working on some of those topics in that time period,
right,
you know, that you could collaborate with and say, hey, I've got this footage that is relevant that, you know, might be applicable into somebody else's film. But, you know,
yeah, well, I mean, that's something that, you know, that would be something that Jim and I would have to have a conversation with, because we're truly
yeah,
in this. But also,
no, I get that. Yeah,
things are different now, so I'm not sure.
I'm just saying, you know, as opposed, you know, like at least some of it can see the light of day, or you know, it could even be. I mean, you could still make your own film for sure, you know,
Right.
and then still like contribute to someone else's story as well, if it works. But so yeah, I randomly stopped a guy today and interviewed him about space, and he is the gentleman, the older gentleman that was talking about, you know, that if you make a mistake in space, you could die, you know, and that it was, I'm not remembering his exact quotes right now, but yeah, the older gentleman in the intro, he is a physicist who reviews science fiction films and books, and he gave me his website. I can send you his info, because he's like he's a physicist, yeah, who is in the space that that you're making, that your film was about. He's a critic who reviews these the works.
Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, send it all. I appreciate it.
Yeah. So cool.
Cool.
So one thing I was thinking about for the space of how do you think it would look in I realized that you edited the piece for like a TikTok like vertical format.
Right.
Yeah. But since we're looking at it on a horizontal, you know, wider format, it occurred to me that what if you like had both images like that on the screen? Did you try it?
You know the secret? It's actually 16:9 with me on one end and him on the other.
Oh, okay.
I wouldn't even need to do that. It's
you wouldn't even need to do that.
We have two cameras, but in this case, just for kind of like the ease of editing, and plus, you know, like it's been ages. I don't remember how those files are organized right now. I picked the first one that was decent, that, you know, that matched what I had found in my transcripts.
Okay.
And just popped it on there.
Just
it was a low effort production, you know.
Okay. Well, that's cool. Yeah.
Yeah. But it's interesting you say that, because like I know that like my big passion for the past couple of years has been VR. And that's one of those things I was thinking about, is like, well, maybe I make this put this documentary in a 360 space for people to experience with different things along the side, things that make sense, you know, because I can do like animations, you know, or maybe there's a space where like there's supplemental materials that you can touch over here and it brings up news articles and that type of thing. Just, you know, just trying to, it's an idea, you know, it's not anything that I've developed or anything. It's just, it might be cool.
Kind of cool.
Yeah.
And maybe a room that you walk into and you can kind of like click on something and experience different, you know, like this interview, maybe the other interview of someone else.
Mhm.
And just like you can move through the room as if it's
Right.
like a museum.
Yeah.
You know, and you can walk over to this kiosk and then watch this interview, and then move
Right.
over to this other space and check out something else.
Right. Or maybe they're linked together in some way that you can see,
Yeah.
you know, like what, you know, that from Always Sunny, that conspiracy board with all of the yarn and stuff like that.
Oh yeah.
Maybe do a VR version of that where you get to explore the different linkages and watch clips in a 3D
Okay.
space or something like that.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Yeah.
New formats.
Yeah. Once again, I'm having a hard time just simply wrapping my head around all of the different pieces just for a linear film. I can't imagine turning that into three-dimensional chess.
Yeah.
Well,
I mean, even just you know, if you wanted it to be three-dimensional, not necessarily have it be as non-linear of a story, but have it like, you know, he's talking about Will and Grace, and you can look over here and there's a clip from Will and Grace that, you know, shows exemplifies what he's talking about.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, lots of different ideas. I know one of the things that my son Hunter, he's a game developer. He's working on a kind of like a virtual reality non-linear storytelling development environment for me to play around with. So maybe that would be one of those first projects where, you know, you get to choose different things and it takes you to different virtual environments and stuff like that. Sort of like you can make like choose your own adventure type of games, but like where you're in the environment. That's kind of like the idea I had for how to use it, but maybe there's a documentary application.
And you know, there's actually a community of a few people that have been in the space of virtual reality documentary filmmaking in Seattle. Like there's already a community of people who have been exploring various ways of telling documentary stories with VR kind of stuff. So maybe you can kind of pick some brands or like look at some other examples that people have done and maybe inspire you to.
Yeah, if you have any links, I'd love to watch them. I know I've seen some of that stuff already, like, you know, like in that space, but you know, I mean, it's a wide open field, so.
Oh yeah.
We're used to being surprised by it.
Cool. Yeah. Fun stuff.
Yeah.
Well, thanks.
Well, thank you, Jason.
Thank you, Jason. Good to see you again.
Good to see you again. Yeah. See you next time.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.
All right. Warner, I've got you, and then Peter, you are last but not least. All right, Warner, I'm adding you in.
All right. Can you guys hear me okay? Hi there.
We can hear you.
Yeah.
Excellent. All right. I'm on kind of a different apparatus tonight, so just doing some AV checks here.
Okay, cool.
All right. So yeah, kind of so good to see the crew. And yeah, kind of taking a break tonight on the kind of the Jimmy franchise. So went to kind of more of a personal story. So it should be we can roll that footage, and took kind of a broad interpretation of the theme this month. So that's pretty much it for the for the clips.
All right, here we go.
All right.
Esthétique aussi, voilà.
Okay. There we go. So yeah, so one of the things about this was that there was a lot of footage from which to tap, but I kind of wanted to just highlight a few pictures and kind of do a little bit of a build up to the trip. And so then that's kind of how I decided on the structure, the ambient sound, the music. You can't go wrong with, you know, some of the natural backgrounds there. And so it kind of came together, and I'm going to probably tweak it a little bit and maybe put something a little bit more in depth together. But for this particular mission, it was, I think, what I was looking for. So
Cool. Yeah.
just kind of a vignette, if you will. Yeah. Yeah.
It was nice. I like how you that spot where you froze, like you're getting ready, obviously, to go into some formal event. You know, and
Yes.
then
Yeah.
and then there happened to be that word "dream" on the wall. It was kind of cool. And then you
Yeah,
froze
that
on
actually
the-
wasn't that wasn't intended, but it was kind of unique in that sense. Yeah.
Yeah.
To have a little
You
bit
know,
of
and then all the, you know, clearly you know, you're thinking about all the good times that you had throughout your
Yeah.
life.
There you go.
Yeah, all those photos.
Yeah, I tried to kind of, like I said, there was many more from which I could tap, but I feel like with the music and the timing of it, I had to kind of get it lined up the right way. So
where was the beach and the last shot?
sure. So the region is you may remember a couple of installments ago for the Jimmy Anchorman series, we had some footage there. It's down in the southwest in the Basque region.
Okay.
Of France. And so my old man's been there for, gosh, probably about 30 years. And so there's a lot of memories of that town, of course, and the beach and things like that. So I figured, how can I not do something here? Not to mention, you know, just the jetliner, you know, and the countryside and some of the visuals. And so I just kind of, it just kind of came together, and I was actually able to edit it, shocking, right? On my iPhone and cut it together. And Sarah knew I was dealing with a couple of logistics as far as the upload, but incidentally, I was able to do it all right off the iPhone, the iMovie app, which is actually pretty seamless.
Wow.
It works pretty well. I've done a few films with on my phone, and it's, yeah. If you don't have to do too much, I mean, there's certain things that cannot do, but
it's a little bit limited, but in a case like this, yeah, exactly.
But yeah, you can definitely make some decent, do some decent work just on your phone. It's cool.
Yeah, yeah. So, but yeah, so that was kind of a reflection segment, and had a lot of fun with it, putting it together. So
yeah, it's good. It definitely worked. Good sentimental value.
A little bit.
Emotion.
Yeah, it's been really nice, just on a personal note, just to be able to share it with some of the family members. That's been great. And so in that way, it's been a kind of a great way to express, you know, the situation. So yeah, good stuff. Let's see.
Yeah.
That's pretty much, those are a few of my comments. I played with some different audio tracks, but kind of found one that clicked, and I try to sync it up with the cuts and the edits, like in that sense. But yeah, those are a few of my comments, but it's good to sometimes take a break off of the Anchorman series. So
Yeah, those are fun.
Yeah.
But
Yeah. Yeah.
but I like war too. You did good,
Yeah.
I like a lot of your environmental, like what do you call them? Just slice of life videos.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. I love the pauses and the pregnant pauses, for example, and the sometimes just letting the footage tell the story a little bit. Yeah.
So reading some of the comments, the
Right.
Jason said it's good mood setting. He likes that, and then
Yeah.
Jeff was talking that less can be more. Nice work.
Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah, because I literally was going to go. I had another 30 seconds of some other clips and a few other segments of family, with some ambient sound and some other things going on. And I kind of just after a few days, there's always that benefit of taking a step back from the footage. So after a few days, I was able to kind of cut out even more, and I kind of wanted to cut the fat and make it something that just gives you a punch. And so that was the idea. So yeah.
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 Nice.
So,
Thank
yeah.
you so much, Warner. Thanks for
Yeah,
sharing
thank you.
it with us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was good. It was it was just kind of came together in terms of being able to share it through this channel. So it worked out. Our channel, I mean, the operation. So yeah. Good deal.
Yeah. See you
All
next
right.
time.
See ya. Yeah.
So yeah.
All right, Peter.
All right.
I
Peter.
am adding you in. Hello.
Hey.
Hi.
Hey.
How's
Like
it
the
going?
lights. I just kicked my cat. Sorry. You can hear me?
Yeah.
Yes.
It's weird because I have a different mic on and it seems to be working now.
Ah.
For some reason, the shotgun doesn't work on there, but this self-powered one does. So I don't know.
Ah.
Good.
Well, it's working.
Yep.
So, space.
Space.
Hey.
Do you want to introduce your piece at all?
Sure. In the last, 2018, 2019, and this summer, I drove across country and back. The first two times, I was actually working on a documentary that I've been thinking about for years. I don't know if I can't remember if I've mentioned it before, but it's the town that I grew up in New York is known now for the fact that the Clintons live there. It's Chappaqua.
Oh, okay.
And the high school there is Horace Greeley High School. And I grew up knowing a little bit about Horace Greeley. He had a house in town. And the high school was named for him, and there was a statue of him. And if most people that I talk to now don't really know who he was, he founded the New York Tribune back in the 1840s. But if anybody knows him, it's because he was known for his main quote is "Go West, young man." He was the guy who was trying to push westward movement. It was Manifest Destiny, and in 1859, like 20 some years after he got the paper going, he finally decided to walk his walk and walk his talk or whatever, and did a trip from New York to San Francisco, and it involved a train ride to, I think it was Quincy, Illinois, and then a riverboat thing, and then St. Louis, and then from there it was all stagecoach and wagon and horses and stuff. And he was sending dispatches back to the Tribune the whole time. And they were printed in the paper. And in a year later, in 1860, as the Civil War was winding out, revving up, it came out as a book called An Overland Journey, New York to San Francisco in the summer of 1859. And I had, for years, I'd been thinking about doing something around the book. And in 2018, I went down to San Francisco and followed his route across country backwards to New York. And in 2019, my partner, who does open water swimming, was swimming in a race in Vermont. And I drove across, picked her up at Logan, and we went up and did the race. And then I dropped her off, and then I followed the route back across the correct way. And so I have all this footage that I've shot both ways. And what I've been thinking about is kind of reflected in this whole space thing. I mean, the bulk of the footage that is in this piece was in out in the desert in Utah, where space is pretty amazing. And these are just some of my thoughts that were going on the whole time. So I don't know. You can play that and we can talk about it afterwards. Cool. Unless you have questions that you want to ask beforehand.
No.
Do it.
We'll ask questions after.
Okay.
Here we go.
Yeah.
In driving through open space in recent times, I've thought about what various people, have said about the carrying capacity of the Earth. They say we can produce enough food to feed 8 billion and more people. And just look at all this room. There's plenty of space for everyone, and then some. There's plenty of space for everyone, and then some. But before you use all the space to make room for everyone, and then some, one needs to remember that not long ago, the final frontier was here. And yes, I did use the final frontier.
You did. I noticed that. I was like,
It was interesting listening to Mr. Martin go on about Star Trek, because I grew up with the earliest part of Star Trek. And I didn't think about it at the time, but what he was talking about over the past couple of years, I've started to realize is really, really important, because that cast was just so diverse.
Yeah.
That I don't know that it worked the same way that he was talking about the Will and Grace thing working. Because, I mean, the whole idea that you had a black woman on the set as a main character, and a Japanese guy, and the Japanese had been scorned for years because of World War II, and Chekhov, and I mean, all of that was just so, and an alien too.
Yeah.
All of that was just so amazing, and I just kind of, I guess, took it for granted in some ways. They were just there on TV, and that was okay.
You know, on it, I mean, thinking back on it, I mean, I was pretty young, and I think that it struck me. You know, I mean, I don't really think it struck me in the same way, right? It's like, wow, this is historic. You know, look at that. But I do remember thinking like, wow, that's a black woman, and that's a Jap, and there's a, you know, I remember thinking, you know, that like about the different ethnicities of the, of the actors, and I think it was effective. I think it works, you know, for me, you know, because again, I wasn't thinking consciously about the political statement, you know, that the director made, but it did affect me in a way that made me, you know, feel like, you know, the equality of races and so on. But yeah.
The one thing that really stuck with me, but I don't know, that kind of went beyond me. I didn't really.
For some, I mean, I think in a way that's what was effective about it for kids, is that you saw it and you accepted it, and it was normal for you. Whereas for your parents, it wasn't. For your parents, it was a statement. But like you growing up, looking at such a diverse cast, you were, you know, normal.
Well, the thing is, growing up in Chappaqua, it was Leave It to Beavertown. I mean, it was totally white. I mean, I had a black school bus driver. And as far as kids in school, it wasn't until my freshman year in high school where there was one black kid in high school in my class, and his father was the science teacher, and so that was the reason why he was there. Otherwise, there really wouldn't have been any black kids in the school. But I don't know, the thing that I think the thing that stuck with me the most about Star Trek was the fact that they could be almost totally destroyed in whatever they were doing. You know, Captain, I'm giving it all I got. And they get to right to the very edge of like blowing up in space, and then they do something that pulls them out of it. And there's some sort of inherent optimism in that in spite of everything else, it's sort of been ingrained in a lot of my thinking. I think it's maybe what pulls me out of a lot of nosedives.
That's an interesting way to put it. Yeah, I concur with that. I relate to that.
But I know. I mean, the whole thing out in the desert. I mean, it's just the thing that there were a ton of things that amazed me about doing it. And I'm still thinking about how it's maybe going to go together. But I mean, one of the things that I learned when I was out there was, and a lot of people I don't think realize this, is the Pony Express is kind of this mythical thing in U.S. history, and it seemed like it was sort of an integral part of the movement west, and that it was there a long time. What a lot of people don't know is it only lasted about 18 months.
Oh wow.
Wow.
And the thing that it started up, and they needed the connection with San Francisco, so stuff was running across country. But the thing that killed it was a telegraph.
Yeah.
Mm.
That came along, and it was sort of irrelevant to have guys on horses riding,
Yeah.
post-it notes across the country.
And then it was those same guys, probably, are the guys who were fixing the telegraph wires.
Could have been.
Changed.
Could have been.
New job.
Yeah. High tech.
Yeah. So Jason has a comment. Well, first Jeff, he enjoyed the narration.
Oh.
And then Jason's comment says, on the right end of the political spectrum, they are fond of saying stuff like that moves the, quote, Overton window. Unquote.
That was in response, or that came up when I was talking about seeing things normalized on television.
Yeah, so he was like, anyways, referring back to the comments we were making with regard to
I don't know what the Overton window is.
I don't either. I was hoping you did, but Jason might. Maybe he'll elaborate on Star Trek. Yeah.
I have no idea what that is.
The Overton window is the range of policies politically acceptable to the mainstream population at a given time. So that is like, watching
there we go.
A black woman or a Japanese man on Star Trek is
that's what we were talking about.
Moving that window of what's socially acceptable to show.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
So Star Trek was moving that to being more diverse and more accepting.
And that's still going on these days too. There's always pushing envelopes about what's socially acceptable,
right.
And making characters.
Well, hopefully it's moving forward instead of being dialed back.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the amazing thing to me is, Star Trek was so advanced it was only 3 years, I think. It didn't last very long, and then it got canceled.
Really?
And, yeah. It wasn't a really long running show. I remember it was canceled, and then it sort of drifted off. And then it was canceled, I think, before the 70s. And there was talk of a Star Trek movie. And I wound up going to a craft school in the North Carolina mountains in summer of '77, and I was taking photography, and it was really isolated. It was before cell phones, and there was no TV up there, and you could barely get a radio station out of Charlotte and stuff. But the whole summer session at the school was 6 different sessions that were 2 and 3 weeks long. And I was there for the whole summer. I got this scholarship where I was working for this, driving for the school and doing knicky-knack things around the school. And so I got to stay there for the whole summer. And the cool thing was, as each session changed, you had a whole new group of people that would come in. Everybody would leave, we'd clean up for 2 or 3 days, and then everybody would come back. And so you'd it was like a news wave would come in. All of a sudden, people would come in with all this new information.
Huh.
It was when Elvis died, and all of a sudden everybody was coming in and talking about Elvis being dead.
Oh wow.
Then everybody came in and was talking about this Star Wars movie, and all I knew of was what I'd heard about the possibility that they were doing a Star Trek movie, and I had no idea what Star Wars was. And so one of my trips into Asheville, I saw that Star Trek was playing at this theater, and I had some extra time, so I pulled in for a matinee. I was looking at the poster, and I was seeing this guy with this sword and this princess and everything. I'm going, where's Kirk and where's Spock, and what the hell is that? And then I went in, and there was like maybe 10 or 15 other people in the theater. It was like after the Saturday afternoon or something, and there was C-3PO and R2-D2 beeping and yakking away at each other. I'm just sitting there laughing. It was so crazy. I'm still waiting for Kirk to beam down from somewhere up to a certain point, and I was going, well, he's probably not going to show up. But it was like, it was so refreshing to see something like that. And it was cool because I had no idea what I was going in to see. And I had no preconceptions or anything. And it was amazing.
Yeah.
And
yeah, I remember those films coming out. It was pretty mind blowing at the time. Pretty push the envelope of what you would imagine to see on screen.
Yeah, and it was sort of low tech. I mean, they were just sort of on the cusp of some of the effects things.
Yeah.
And it was. I mean, it wasn't 50s monster movie kind of stuff that Zappa talked about with you see the 2x4 pushing the monster onto the scene and stuff. So it was convincing enough that it didn't get in the way of the story.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know, space, man.
Space, man.
It's the future.
Yeah.
I would have been here last time, but I had an idea, but it was in Seattle. I had to film it in Seattle, and I just couldn't motivate myself to get off island to do it. But I think I may still do it and throw it at you at some point in the future.
Well, we should get a coffee or beer if you show up on Fauntleroy sometime.
Okay.
So I'm just here on at Admiral.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Cool. That would work. I'll drink a beer. Or a coffee.
Yeah.
Depends what time of day, right?
Yeah.
No.
Just as long as you're awake,
Right.
Cool.
Which is actually a question now and then too. So.
Okay.
But I'll be awake. I'll have a coffee before my beer.
Wake you up. Well, should we watch them all again?
Sure.
My spacer lights.
That's cool. I like the lights.
All right. Thanks, Peter.
Yeah, thank you.
Thanks, Peter. Wow. So that was a pretty awesome set of spacey films.
Yeah.
Unexpected. I was expecting at least one film set in space.
A little bit more literally.
Yeah. All the people that I talked to were talking about space, like outer space, but
yeah.
None of the filmmakers went there. They're all like, "Yeah, I've already done that." That's funny.
To explore the nuances. Well, because you don't wanna do
No.
the same thing that everyone else is doing. Because there've been months where, like, everyone does the same film.
Yeah.
You know?
So
Well, you ready to watch
So
it
I
again?
so we changed the added a new word to my strip, and then so we'll do it again, and then once we're done watching all the films again, we'll spin for December. See
Spin
what
for
comes up.
December.
Yeah.
Alright.
Last one of the year. Cool.
Here we go.
Oh, so this time, just gonna say, when we get to Dan's film, should I think I was gonna do the spacey.
Do it in the accidental 360 mode.
Yeah, the 360 mode and kind of zoom around, have a little like experiential thing going on with that. That's yeah, okay. Well, we'll see when we get there. Oh, and Peter, I wanted to apologize for the weird technology glitch in cleaning your film. I don't understand. Well, I couldn't go full screen with it, but I just kind of let it roll. It seemed like it was good enough. So hopefully it'll work better next time. So,
Hopefully.
all right.
All right.
So,
Are you ready now?
Oh, let's see. Am I ready? I believe I am. Let's go.
Like space?
Space.
Space. Space.
Ooh.
Infinity.
It's out there, man. Empty.
There's a lot of space up above.
Planets and stars.
Magnitude, grandeur.
This epic concept that's hard to imagine. Infinite. Stars and planets.
The limits of human imagination.
Really exciting and wondrous.
It's exploration. Tough place to spend time in because you die if you make a mistake.
I love the Guardians of the Galaxy version of space, like universe. Beautiful it can look, and the sky is clear and you can see the Milky Way.
There's a lot of space between here and the other side of the sound.
Space, as far as personal space, is probably my number one concern in life right now.
And boxes.
Boxes.
Yes.
In your opinion, do you think that science fiction has any more social or political power than any other artistic genre?
No. But it has as much power as any artistic genre.
Okay.
I mean, art does change our culture. We have great power, we writers and people in movie and television films, especially ones with large audiences, can change people's lives. And, not always in the most obvious ways. You don't necessarily need to do documentaries or heavy dramas and all that. I mean, you see situations. I look at a television show like Will and Grace, and I think Will and Grace probably had more to do with the acceptance of gay marriage in this country than any number of protest marches or petitions, because it was watched by many, many millions of people for a number of years. The characters were, stereotypes in some way, but they were sympathetic characters that the audience liked and identified with and wanted to do well. And you transfer that to other people and, it does make a difference.
Sure.
I mean, and science fiction has always had a good record with that. I mean, there's the famous, you go back to the first Star Trek episode and how groundbreaking that actually was. I mean, a black woman on the command bridge of a starship.
Right.
The effect that it had on young black girls. I mean, Whoopi Goldberg has spoken to this and all that. Enormous. Chekhov, at the height of the Cold War, Roddenberry puts a Russian on the bridge of the starship. He puts an Asian guy there with Sulu.
Right.
For the mid-'60s, compare that to the other shows that were on. Nobody else was doing that at the time. It was important, and I think that kind of can still be very important.
Une éthique et une esthétique aussi. Voilà.
In driving through open space in recent times, I've thought about what various people, have said about the carrying capacity of the Earth. They say we can produce enough food to feed 8 billion and more people. And just look at all this room. There's plenty of space for everyone, and then some. There's plenty of space for everyone, and then some. But before you use all the space to make room for everyone, and then some, one needs to remember that not long ago, the final frontier was here.
Hey, hey.
Hey, hey.
Lots to ponder and think about in those films.
Yeah. Space.
Space. Yeah, be careful where you park.
Make sure your parking space is adequate for your needs.
Yeah. So.
All right. Shall we see what our next theme is?
Yeah. The trusty
trusty skateboard.
Reballard skateboard. Yeah. That kind of looks like a Star Trek logo, but I think it's Alpental. Just keep them. Anyway, here we go.
Point.
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 Point. Point. Yeah, I don't know. Fuck, what's the point?
What's the point?
What's the point? I guess we'll find out what the points are in a month.
I'm sure people will make some very compelling points.
I'm looking forward to finding out what the point is.
They'll point it out for us.
Because so far it's eluded. It's escaped me, but yeah. So,
all right.
The point. Have fun. To watch.
Have fun.
Have fun.
And we'll see. Let's see. It's December 18th.
December 18th.
December 18th.
Okay.
See everyone then.
See everyone then. All right.